Welcome to the Killer Boobies podcast, Unraveling Breast Implant Illness. Here's your hosts, Wendy Bunnell, Leslie Smoot, and Brandy Vega. Welcome to the Killer Boobies podcast. My name is Wendy Bunnell, and I have the beautiful Miss Christina Rouland here in my studio. Hi, Christina. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. She's coming from beautiful, sunny Florida, and I am just honored to have you. I've been watching what you've been doing from afar, and I know that you have your own support group for breast implant illness, approaching about 6,000-ish women. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
And how long ago did you put that together?
September of 2018, so about a year and a half ago.
Okay, fantastic. And then you also have a business that you run. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. So I am a mom. I homeschool my son. I'm the founder of Size Happy. So I really empower women to detach happiness from their body and confidence from their body. So it doesn't matter. I try to instill this in them. It doesn't matter the size of your jeans, your weight, your shape, your size, your breast size, any of that has nothing to do with the amount of happiness or confidence that you can have. So I focus on body image and self-love and confidence, happiness, all of that stuff.
You know, you say that, and what's so interesting is as I've been on this journey, one of the beautiful things that ended up happening before I even knew it was breast implant illness, but I was on this health journey. I had this health crisis going on, and I really started to deeply love my body. I started to deeply love I was fascinated about how it worked, why it worked. I really got involved in the inner workings of our bodies. And I started to really fall in love with my body, even though it was shutting down in all areas. It was an opportunity to get really, really grounded with my physical self. And that's when I released 35 pounds, like effortlessly.
Right.
And even before I had my explant, which is unheard of, I actually was told by my functional medicine doctor and my plastic surgeon, they never see women release weight before their explant surgery because the inflammation makes it almost impossible. So I know what it's all about in terms of falling in love with yourself, getting detached from our happiness and our physical body, and how that can produce magic results, right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I just made a post the other day talking about how it's going to be harder for you to achieve the body that you desire or the life that you desire, hating your body. Like hating your body is not going to get you to that place, and you might get there, but you're not going to maintain it. You're not going to sustain it, right?
Yeah.
So,
in fact, that you see that yo-yo dieting all the time where women will release some weight, and then all of a sudden, because they didn't really work on the root of the issue that was creating the situation where they needed the weight to feel safe in this world. And so then they gain it back and then some. And it's just a yo-yo. And we see it all the time. And I have been prone to that my whole life as well. And so it's interesting. Now I feed my body because I love my body. I honor my body and I feed it what it needs. And that emotional eating has been really eliminated. So even though it was a horrific event, challenging wise, and there were so many beautiful things that unfolded because of the situation I went through. And I'm sure you probably have your own unique flavor and story behind yours, right?
Yeah, I can totally relate to everything you just said. I have a new appreciation for my body and more self-love for myself after going through everything that I've gone through with breast implant illness.
Yeah. So why don't you share with us your story? Because you have a story like all of us breast implant illness survivors. You have a unique story.
Yeah. So for me, my story, it kind of starts in high school. So when I was in high school, I started to not have a healthy body image. So I was very self-conscious, didn't like the way that I looked. And for me, it started off with just extreme dieting. So I would basically be more of like a restrictive eater. I wouldn't necessarily say anorexic, but just a restrictive eater, all these rules. And for me, I took out my unhappiness with myself and with my body with the food. I thought that the food would fulfill me or whatever. when I was about 19, I realized, okay, my breasts aren't going to grow anymore. And back then there was MTV. So there was Pamela Anderson and Jenny McCarthy, Carmen Electra, there's all these women who, they had breast implants, right? And so it seemed pretty normal and common that if you don't have them, just go buy them. I didn't hear about anybody ever having issues, right? Yeah, just go pay for them. So I wanted breast implants since I was 19. A couple years went by and I finally had enough money to get breast implants. So when I was 23, almost 24, I got breast implants. I got smooth silicone under the muscle, 420 cc's. And I went from about an A to like a full D. And I really only wanted a full C, but somehow I ended up with a D. And honestly, for the first 5 years, I didn't have any hiccups. I didn't have any pains, didn't experience any fatigue. Like everything seemed really normal. I was very happy. It definitely helped with my confidence.
Yeah.
I felt really good. I'm in my mid-20s at this point, right? And I felt invincible. But it wasn't until I had my son in 2011. So at this point, I've had my breast implants for about 5 years. So in 2011, I had my son, and then it seemed like right after I had him, I started to experience a lot of fatigue and a lot of brain fog. And I just chalked that up to being a new mom, just had a baby. I'm a new stay-at-home mom now. I was always used to working outside of the house, being around a lot of people. And now I'm home by myself with my new baby. I just had a baby. And so I just chalked up the fatigue and the brain fog and the forgetfulness and the spaciness to just having a baby and being hormonal and being bored, essentially. But as the years went on, those two things never went away. They just kind of kept lingering and getting worse. It wasn't until October 2014 when I really realized that something was going on with my body, because I got a swollen lymph node underneath my right armpit. And at this point, I'm a health and fitness coach online. I was studying health and fitness and nutrition since I was about 16. So I'm very educated when it comes to this. I'm kind of doing this as a line of work. And I started to experience a swollen lymph node, and I didn't know what it was at first. So I went to my gynecologist. She felt it, and she said, yeah, it feels like a lymph node. If it goes away, but then comes back, definitely go see your doctor. So I was like, okay. She didn't seem concerned about it. So I wasn't concerned about it at that point. So I just went on with my life. And then 2 months later in December, it actually did come back. So that's when I was like, okay, something's definitely going on with my body. Lymph nodes don't respond to just nothing. They respond to either viruses or, things that are floating around in your body that need to get picked up. So I went to my doctor. She put me on antibiotics and antiviral, and neither one of those two things did anything. And from December 2014 right now until probably like May 2015, within this short time frame, I started to experience the lymph node in my armpit. Then I started to lose a lot of hair every time I took a shower, hip joint pain. My eyes started to get really blurry and dry, and I had all these little eye floaters. And then like the worst part was having the really, really severe depression and anxiety bouts. So like out of nowhere. I mean, to the point I literally remember it was my birthday. I forget if this was 2015 or 2016, but on my birthday, I woke up with so much anxiety that I woke up, made me some ginger tea, took a walk around my house just to kind of like get out. And then I came back and I took a bath. I'm just sitting in the bath. I'm crying, all this on my birthday. And I mean, that's just how bad it was. And again, 6 months before this, everything was totally fine. I thought I was healthy. And then literally October comes, I have my lymph node going on. And then by May, I have all those other symptoms. So I know for some women, it's kind of like a little bit slower. They experience all these symptoms more gradually and they just kind of compound. Whereas for me, things just were 1 month okay. And then within 6 months, I was just honestly scared for my life. I remember feeling like I had this rare cancer, this rare disease that no doctor could figure out. And I'm seeing all the specialists. I'm going to doctors. They want to give me Xanax, testing me for all these things. I still have all my paperwork. And when I look at it, my paperwork from back in the day, I'm just like, it brings me back and just so appreciative to where I am now. But just to kind of get back to there. So at this point, we're in 2015 and I'm having all these symptoms. And I just kind of like feel like I was just learning how to adjust to these things. And I just kind of learned how to live with these things. And I just felt like, okay, well, I guess this is just how I'm supposed to feel. And at this point, I'm like 32 years old. So I'm super young and I'm still dealing with these things all of a sudden. And it just didn't make sense to me at all because I live a very healthy lifestyle and I take good care of myself and all of this. But then to jump forward to 2017, that's when I discovered breast implant illness. And I was sitting downstairs on the couch and the news came on and there were these handful of women who were talking about two things that I never heard about before: breast implant illness and explanting. And they were talking about how they had all of these symptoms and their symptoms were very similar to mine, and how they explanted and they got better. And it was like a light bulb moment for me. There was no question, could this be it? For me, I just felt it in my gut and in my intuition that this is exactly what is going on with me and my body, because up until this point, I'm eating right, I'm taking care of my body, I'm removing all these household toxins, from my hygiene products and my cosmetics, my cleaning products. Like, I'm trying to take care of all the exterior things. But in this moment, I realized that it was my interior that was really affecting me.
Absolutely. And
Right?
I would like to just interject that point and reinforce that with the listeners. So oftentimes we have this intuition, we have this gut instinct, we have this gut feeling. And I want to encourage the listeners to listen to that, because you're going to have a lot of outside interference as you explore this. And I find that the women that just honor that and have that inner knowing and they do something about it, their success and their explant and their recovery is so much greater than those that take 6 months, a year, 2 years. They have to talk to 20 doctors. They're listening to all their friends. They're listening to doctors that aren't really supportive of breast implant illness. The fact of the matter is, your body will tell you, your gut instinct will tell you, your higher power will tell you, just listen to it. Right? If it's telling
Yeah.
you that, honor it and move forward. That's my encouragement. So good on you, because you didn't question it. You just
I
said,
didn't.
this
And
is
I was willing to take that risk. I was willing to be like, well, after I heard about breast implant illness and I'm reading about all these chemicals and toxins and heavy metals that are made up of breast implants, for me, it was also like these
yeah.
things should not be in my body,
Yeah.
regardless of anything. How is this even acceptable? So I was willing to take that risk because up at this point now, we're talking like 2 years ago, up at this point, I I just appreciated my body for what it did for me and not how it looked. I was really in this place of body acceptance and self-love. And I was at a point to where my breast size, I knew, didn't define me anymore. It didn't have anything to do with my happiness or confidence or how I showed up in the world anymore. So I was already at that place where I do know that a lot of women aren't there yet. They still attach their breast size to their identity and how they do things and what they wear, so on and so forth. But for me, I was already in that place of like, these things need to get out of me. They're so toxic. I can't believe I didn't know this. So for me, it was more of a relief and
Mhm.
less being scared, so to say. I mean, of course, I was nervous of the surgery and curious about how I was going to look. I wasn't scared about how I was going to look. I was curious, like, oh gosh, how am I going to look? But it was a no-brainer for me.
Mhm.
But actually, like, a year went by. So now we're in 2018, and I was upstairs doing laundry, and the last symptom that I started to have was the gasping for air, like just shortness of breath and everything. And I'm doing laundry upstairs and I'm just like gasping for air. And at this point, again, I knew about breast implant illness. I knew I was going to explant at some point, and I was gasping, and I went downstairs and I told my husband, I was like, look, I'm upstairs, I'm gasping for air, just doing the laundry. And I had this voice, literally, I didn't think it just came to me and said, Christina, what you're experiencing is not normal. You should not be going through all of this. You know about breast implant illness. Go take care of this.
Mhm.
Like, it just came to me, and I was like, oh, like I need to really like nip this in the butt now. So went downstairs. I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to be setting up a consultation this week. I want to get the ball rolling with my explant and get these things out of me, because I'm upstairs huffing and puffing doing the laundry. I have hip joint pain. I'm losing my hair. I have anxiety. I have depression. Like, I never want to have sex because I have a low libido, just all these things going on. And I want to get these out of me. So I set up my consultation, set up my explant actual surgery date, and I explanted August 2nd, 2018 with Dr. Dev from Aquaplastic Surgery here in South Florida. And since then, it's been a year and a half at the point of this podcast. But I mean, since then, my life is completely different in a great way. I feel honestly like I felt before I got these breast implants. I feel energetic and spunky, and I can think straight, and I'm showing up for myself. I'm showing up for my size happy community. I'm showing up for my husband, for my son. I'm just showing up in life in ways that I wasn't able to for the past 7 years that I had the breast implants.
That is a beautiful story, beautiful journey. And here you are, paying it forward, helping women to just be okay with their body no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question for you is this: how can women be okay with their bodies as they are? What are some of what's some of the advice that you can give them, whether it is breast implants and their breast size, or it's their overall shape? Maybe they're plus size and they have worked their whole life to release those 50, 60, 70 pounds, and it doesn't matter what they do. They just seem to hang on to them. And, I've had women in my life say, my body disgusts me. My body
right there won't do it.
Right. So I'm just curious, as you hold women by the hand and you lead them down this road, what are some of the first things that women can do to really, really fall in love with themselves?
So some of the things that I think are contributing to us not loving ourselves and not loving our body are social media, society, other people's standards, and then what you see on magazines and in commercials, right? It's like we're bombarded all the time between social media, like I said, commercials, when you're standing in line, you see these magazines and everybody looks a certain way. Everybody's super skinny, or they're fit. They have, they look a certain way. Most women, no matter what they do, unless they have extreme plastic surgery, most women aren't going to look like these women that are not walking around, but like that you see on magazines, right? So the first thing is getting it out of your head that look is what's going to make me happy or what's going to make me confident, because it's just so not true. It's so unattainable. And it can be very harmful. It can be very detrimental to your own mental health too, to try to achieve something that is really unattainable. Like for the most of us, I'm 5'4" and I'm very tiny. And, I wish I was more curvy, but honestly, for me to have to do that, I would have to go to some extreme, so to say, and that's not going to make me happy at the end of the day. So the first thing I would say is definitely like unfollow social media accounts where you're always comparing yourself to them, or and I'm sure some of these social media accounts aren't intentionally making you feel this way, but if you're just like, oh, you're comparing yourself to her, your body to her lifestyle, just like erase all of that for a little bit and stop the comparison game, because I feel like that's kind of step one, is not comparing and really being appreciative for your own body and what it does for you, and not so much on what it looks like. So just super appreciative. It keeps us alive on a daily basis, right? And so look at your body through a different lens and start appreciating it for all that it does. It carries you through so that you can go on all these adventures and, all of this. So that would be my first thing.
I have to tell you, it brings to my mind one thing that I actually started to embrace that I never did. I started to look differently at my stretch marks. I've had 5 pregnancies, okay? And my stomach, no matter how low my weight is, I always tend to have a little bit of a muffin top, and I have very, very wrinkly skin, right? where my babies were, right? Where they stretched me out. And it used to, I used to embarrass me, and I wanted to cover it up and everything. And now I'm like, you were able to carry 5
Right.
beautiful babies. Now, one I had a miscarriage with, but I have 4 living children, 2
Mm.
bonus babies, and 9 grandbabies. They are the delight of my life. And it's just a constant reminder now, God, I'm getting a little emotional,
Yeah.
that my body allowed me to
Mm-hmm.
have those beautiful, healthy babies, and it
Yep.
carried. And that's just a constant reminder. I look down and go, rock on, babies. Those, that was so
That's
great.
right.
And there's
Yeah.
so many women out there that don't have that experience, that yearn for that experience. Why am
Mm.
I not feeling grateful for every single one of those little tiny marks down there?
Right.
And I see it differently now. I really do.
Yeah, you see your body through a different lens. And I too, I have stretch marks. I've had them since I was like probably in middle or high school because I gained a lot of weight really quick. And I used to hate my stretch marks too. I have cellulite and I used to hate my cellulite. And now it's just like, look, realistically and honestly, I would think it's safe to say 80% of women have these things.
Mhm.
You know, we're seeing the 20% that don't, and we're thinking there's something wrong with us because we're not seeing it and all these models and these Instagram influencers and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just really like seeing your body, these things, these dimples and stretch marks. And you know, I have a son too, and I carry more weight in my stomach now. It's just really seeing your body as miraculous. The fact that we're even here having a life is like 1 in 7 trillion, I think, you
Mhm.
know? So it's like just being so appreciative and not getting so stuck on all the little small things in life, you know,
Yes,
especially
yes.
regarding your body.
And quite honestly, I don't think there's a human on this earth that it has a perfect body. You know, all of those things are airbrushed. All of those things are modified anyways, right?
Yeah.
And I'm starting to really appreciate, guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm just
Oh
going to
boy,
tell
what?
you guys, okay? My hair is really pretty white. I don't know if you can see that, but
Yeah.
almost all of my hair is white. I'm turning 50 this year, and I have made the decision that I'm going to embrace my white hair.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, so that I don't look like a skunk, I'm going to this weekend get it really, really bleach blonde, so that, and then she's going to start to weave it so that as it goes down, it nicely, you know, it doesn't look like just a white streak and then,
Right. Yeah.
right. But and I've given up the Botox, given up, I've never gotten the filler before, but I did really like the Botox on my crow marks before. And I just thought, you know what, this is me at 50. This is
Yeah.
me at 50. And if I can feel absolutely 100% okay and secure in my own body, then I'm honoring it and
Yeah.
I'm loving on it. And it responds as this wellness making machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I want to be. I want to be okay with every part of me. And I wasn't like that 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Yeah. 10 years ago, 27. Oh yeah. 27. At 27, I was just getting over binge eating disorder. I was just getting over that. And again, with binge eating disorder, it was because I did not love my body. I was always trying to change my body and I was really unhappy in my life. And so I always turned to food to numb me, to try to fix me, to comfort me, to soothe me. It was like my pacifier and my drug of choice. That's like a whole nother topic I can get into. But yeah, like 10 years ago, I was in the thick of like hating my body.
Mhm.
So it's amazing, you know, how much growth you can go through in like even a 5-year period. And it sounds like you're really at a place of just accepting who you are, which is beautiful. I'm seeing more and more women accepting their silver hair. I think it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping, you know, my hair, because of breast implant illness, was coming out in chunks like most of us have.
Yep.
And I'm starting to see new regrowth. So I think my only concern is that I'll look a little bald up here at the top. And again, I'm like, is it possible that you can be okay with that? because that's where you're at right now. And is it possible that those are, again, some war wounds from, breast implant illness, and that you can be okay with just having that temporarily as you're working with your body and your hair starts to grow in. So we'll see. I'll let everybody know how that goes. I'm not going to tell you I have zero insecurities, because I do. I'm human, and we all have insecurities.
Yeah.
But I love that you're helping women do this and get okay, because as you see them step into owning themselves, what do you see? What are some of the things that you see?
I see a lot of women who, after they explant, are like, you know what? I actually love my new, not my new boobs, but like my real boobs. Like, I actually love this body. And a lot of them are in this place of where they're like, I feel so good that I don't even care about my breast size. So, I mean, I am seeing a lot of that. Probably more the 6, 7, 8 month down the road explant mark, because in the very beginning, it's going to be a little shocking to see your breasts. I mean, let's just be real for a second. When you first see them, they can look smushed and wrinkly, because your skin was once stretched with these big implants in them, and now they're smaller. But honestly, over the course of each month, if you take not like a progress photo, but you take a photo, you will see your breasts change and become more shapely and smooth out more over the course of the following months. So for any of you that are freshly explanted, and you're just a little concerned about how things are looking right now, my thing would just be to just be patient, because they will change. There's not one person who I've met who said, my breasts, I'm one year post explant and I still look the same as I did day one, right? Like, your breasts are going to change shape over the course of the next couple months. So just be super patient with them.
And you know what? Mine are sporting the rock and sock kind of look right now. I'm going to just tell you that right now. And that's okay. I'm all right, but they are every single day. Now, October 9th, I'm about 5 months out, I guess.
Yep,
right?
5 months.
They're starting to kind of perk up a little bit. They're starting to, as soon as I can exercise a little bit more and my body allows me to do that, I'll be doing more push-ups. I tried to do that early on and my body said, no.
Yeah.
And so I listened and said, okay, I'll hold off. I mean, my desire is I want to get back into exercising. I want to get best shape of my life. My 50th birthday's in June and I want to be on top of the world. It's okay if I'm not quite there yet,
Yeah.
And so, but I call them my little warrior princesses.
That's right.
They fought this battle I didn't even know about until last September. But I look at them and I really admire and love them. And they are perking up and they're starting to fluff up a little bit. And it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, mine fluffed up too, right around your time. So like 4 or 5 months, I feel like, because in the very beginning for me, my right breast was noticeably smaller than my left breast. But then like around your time, the 4 or 5 month mark, I felt like they looked more like stepsisters or sisters, and they were kind of looking similar now. So,
That's awesome. So let's keep going with this. Is there anything else that you feel like, and so we're not comparing, we're seeing our body through a different lens, right? Anything else that you feel would be helpful as women step into this place of self-acceptance instead of self-sabotage, self-hatred, self-loathing, which we can get caught up in really easily if we allow that to filter into our minds?
Yeah. I think honestly, just from working with a lot of women and myself in my own experience, we put this pressure on ourselves to kind of look a certain way and act a certain way. And we let a lot of other people's opinions of us and what maybe we should look like get in the way. And, I would really invite everybody to kind of step into their own power and get rid of all of those expectations. And maybe you have something in your mind that somebody said to you maybe in high school and you still carry that around with you. That's theirs to carry around. That's their opinion, their perspective. That's not for you to carry around. And again, just, I really want women to see beyond, in this, since we're talking about breast implant illness, just to see beyond their breast size, that, you know, your breasts don't define you. They, in fact, really won't make you any more confident, especially if you've been sick for so long. It's just really not worth it. So, another thing that kind of came to me when you were just talking is healing expectations. So, you know, post-op, when it comes to healing, don't put an expectation on when you think you should start to feel better. Like, oh, because I see it all the time in my group, you know, I'm 5 weeks or I'm 5 months post-explant and I'm still feeling like this, or I'm still dealing with that, right? And I think that there's just some women who assume that they're going to be fully healed and back on their feet and feeling amazing within like the 6-month mark. And honestly, it's just not realistic. And I think that you probably will hear the stories of women who are healing and feeling amazing more than you're going to hear the stories of women who are feeling just like crap still post-explant, right? And so post-explant, I always tell women to really focus on yourself and your healing and how you're feeling. And don't get so caught up on, oh man, that girl explanted the same time I did and she's feeling so much better. And look at her, she's looking so much better. And here I am. What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong, right? Everybody is different. We're all exposed to different things. You know, you don't know what this other girl is doing. Whereas like, you don't know if she has the MTHFR mutation, the Epstein-Barr virus, you know, if she's working on herself, her mentality. There's just so many different things when it comes to healing.
Yeah.
It's not just taking the supplements and eating really good. It's very much so addressing things emotionally and mentally. And so, yeah, healing, just, there's so many different things that are attached to it. So I would just really say, you know, don't put any kind of time frame on when you think you should be healed, and just have that trust and that faith and that belief that your body is doing everything that it can right in this very moment to heal you. It's repairing you, it's rebuilding, it's cleansing, it's detoxing, it's doing all of these things. It's digesting your food. It's doing so much for you in this very moment. And just have that trust, that complete trust that it's, you know, it's doing everything that it can to get you back to this just balanced, whole, healed, healthy place.
Oh, I think that's wonderful advice. It takes me back to the day before my surgery and the day of my surgery. I was so excited because I saw all these women that took a picture the day before their surgery, and then the next day they took a picture of themselves like within 24 hours. And they looked so much different, and they were like miraculously looking better. Their eyes changed and their skin changed and their hair changed in a day. And I did it. And mine wasn't different.
Right? Yeah.
My eyes had slightly changed. I do have to say there was this heaviness in my eyes, and they were really bloodshot and all of those things, but it wasn't significantly different. And I didn't even want to put it in the group because I was like, well, mine doesn't look that miraculous, you know?
Yeah.
And I did have to get to that space where my journey is perfect for me. It's perfectly orchestrated for me, my learning, my growth, my body. And if I will allow and surrender to that, I will learn the most. And I will allow my body to heal the fastest too, right?
Absolutely.
And some days I'm really good at it. And some days I'm battling it because I'm like, gosh darn it, can't you just, you know, especially I'm still dealing with some pretty severe fatigue. And there are some days where I get frustrated and I'm done with it and I want it to get better and I'm eating healthy and I'm doing all the things necessary. But then I get back to a healthier space saying, it's all right, sister. You got this. It's okay. You're all right. Keep moving forward. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've all seen that image of what healing looks like, right? There's that image where we see what we think healing looks like, and it's a straight line that goes up. Kind of more of like a roller coaster intertwining and all of this, right? So
loop-de-loops and
you know, on those days that you feel like you're having a flare up or you don't feel mentally or physically well, I always tell women self-care. Just take care of yourself. whatever that means to you. Could be a bubble bath, could be taking your dog to the park, it could be whatever kind of relaxation method. Just those are the days and the times when you really want to focus in on yourself and be really loving to your body. Talk to your body, say, body, I know that you're doing the best that you can right now, and I really appreciate you and I accept you. I have this beautiful, I just put it on my YouTube. I'm not consistently active on my YouTube, but I really wanted to do this for my community. Was I have a body image and self-love meditation on my YouTube, and it's really just all about talking to your body, telling your body thank you, telling your body you're on its side and how much you appreciate it and all of that stuff. So as silly as that may sound for some, for somebody like me, it really does make me feel better. It really helps me to connect more with my body, and to show it that appreciation, because like we kind of mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, you're going to, in my opinion, from what I've seen, you're going to heal faster when you come from a place of love and surrender and faith, and not so much of restriction and control and pressure and expectations, right? So it's just really, just coming from that place of love and patience and faith. And from what I've seen, you just feel better sooner.
That is wonderful. Tell us where we can find this meditation, because I am all for that. And I will definitely find that and use that on a regular basis.
Yeah. So my YouTube channel, Size Happy with Christina. I only have, a few things on there right now, but the things that I do have on there right now really do help address healing and self-love and body image. So you can find that meditation on there. It's the last thing that I posted like a week or two ago. And I personally love my own meditation. It's really good. And you'll feel hopefully really connected to your body and have that newfound appreciation for everything that it's doing for you.
Fantastic. Christina, if someone wanted to reach out to you, they had some questions for you, or they just really resonated and they thought you might be able to help them as they, went along this journey of breast implant illness and healing, how could they find you? Do you have an email that they can find you at, or is it on Facebook? Where can they reach out to you?
Yeah, I think the best place would be through my email. So Christina, and it's CHRISTINA @sizehappy.net. Just email me and just maybe in the subject put like Killer Boobies podcast or something like that, so I know that you're coming from this community, and just like, let's have an open conversation. You can ask me anything. I'm an open book. You can reach me there. And then also, if you're looking for a safe space and a really positive, uplifting community, you can find me in my Facebook group, which is Breast Implant Illness, Rejuvenation, and Education with Christina. You can find me in there, and feel free to DM me on Facebook too, if you'd like. And then I share more of my Size Happy stuff, so body image and self-love, on my Instagram, which is sizehappy_with Christina.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all of your goodness, your ideas, your hope. I think this was a beautiful conversation. I believe it'll help a lot of women that have already put the puzzle pieces together, have explanted, are now trying to move towards a place where they are in self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Or those that are considering doing this and wondering, how in the world am I going to do this? How can I accept myself after the fact? And we're hearing today, it is possible. Not only is it possible, it's so beautiful on the other side. And there's such an incredible ride. We encourage you, if you believe and you have that gut feeling that this is impacting your life, run with it, go with it, and we'll hold your hand through it. That's what this community does, right?
Absolutely.
I'm blown away at how breast implant illness survivors have just rallied together. They link arms, they lift each other up. It's a really wonderful way to see women coming together. So oftentimes we hear, women are so catty, women are demeaning, women pull each other down. Nope, I don't see it in this group. I see women saying, you got this, you can do it. We're here with you. We're rallying around you, and we know you can get better and reclaim your health. So with that being said, thank you so much for being with us today. I so appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, listeners, for being here again on Killer Boobies, Unraveling Breast Implant Illness, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening.
Spread the word by subscribing, liking, and sharing the Killer Boobies podcast today. You could be the person who helps someone reverse their pain and suffering and reclaim their health today.